welcome back. Okay then, so let's go ahead and start setting it up. Hopefully you have VirtualBox or some other hypervisor installed. I have mine right here. I'm just going to go ahead and expand it to full screen mode. The entirety of my screen shall be consumed by VirtualBox. As you can see, I have a ton load of some virtual machines that I use for God knows what, but who cares, they are all aborted or powered off or saved or whatever. So none of them are active at the moment. You can disregard them completely. What we need to do now is create 3 virtual machines. One to be our office machine, which will represent an office, one to represent an office machine, another one to represent a server, and the third one to represent the admin workstation. So go ahead and click on new. The first one will be, well, let's go with CentOS. That's the easiest and the fastest one to install, I guess, since it's the minimal ISO. So CentOS underline Proxy. I'm naming mine so, but you can name it wherever you want. So type Linux version Red Hat 64-bit. Yes, CentOS and Red Hat pretty much the same thing, except CentOS comes without support for which Red Hat gets. So go ahead and click on next. I'm gonna give it at least a gigabyte of RAM. So go ahead and click on next. Create a virtual drive. Sure, disk image. Next. And here we're gonna say, I am going to say 30 gigabytes. Sorry, not 39. I have a standard of giving 30 gigabytes to all these machines, just to avoid problems of giving it too little space. Okay, so there we go. We have it, and we're gonna go into settings, and we can go under the system just so that I can show you something. Under the processor, you can see that it has 4 CPUs. Now, my machine at the moment, this laptop, has 2 CPUs, 2 actual physical cores, and with hyperthreading, I have 2 more. So in total, there's 4. As I said, my new machine is en route, and eventually it should arrive. When it arrives, I'm gonna have like a lot of cores and a lot more RAM than I have here, and faster too. So I'll be able to create a bigger virtualization environment. Anyway, so we have it says 1 CPU, I can give it up to 4. If I give it up to 4, you see it says invalid settings. More virtual CPUs are assigned to the virtual machine than the number of physical CPUs on the host system. This is likely to degrade the performance of your virtual machine, and also it's basically going to make your physical machine unusable. It's not unrecoverable without a reboot, but not advised. So let's just leave it at 1 CPU. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to storage where it says empty. I will click on this blue disk image and just choose the ISO image that you have downloaded from the net. I have a lot of them here. Well, not as many as some people, but still. Okay, so CentOS minimal ISO. Go ahead and open it. Click on OK, and let's go ahead and power it on. So while this is powering, it says test media. I'm gonna go ahead with install. If something goes wrong, if you can't read the ISO image, if the machine cannot read the ISO image, please re-download it, because the file might have been corrupt. Okay, so while this is going on, we can just go ahead and click on new, and I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this, so leave it here in the corner. And the next one shall be Fedora admin. So this shall be our administrator. We can click on next, and I shall give it a bit more RAM. I shall give it like maybe up 2 gigs. So go ahead and click on next. Create virtual hard drive now. Yep, yes, please do. Next. Dynamically allocated, sure. Give me 30 here. And I'm gonna go, oh, by the way, you can change the name of your hard drive here if you like, but I never do that, so it's fine. I generally just create new hard drives if I need it for something else. Go ahead and click on create. Go into settings, storage, click on empty, click on the blue disk, choose the image, and just choose it from your downloads folder. Fedora 22 do I have the 23 one? Yep, there we go. So Fedora 23 might be different at the time when you're watching this video because Fedora releases are rolled out quite fast. Let's go ahead and state OK, and I'm gonna boot that machine up. So we're gonna do the simultaneous installation of all three machines. Hopefully we can actually do that. So let's leave this one here. I have two monitors, but unfortunately if I was to record on two monitors, this would be kind of difficult for you to see anything, as probably not everybody's running the dual monitor setup. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that the image would be too big. Let's expand this a little bit further. So we have CentOS, we have Fedora, and I want one more machine, which is going to basically make my processor and my machine scream. I should probably enable additional cooling, but oh well. The third machine will be Ubuntu, some office, and there you go. It says something went wrong. Okay, no big deal. We will come back to this. It says Ubuntu some office. It's not Solaris. It's Linux, and it's Ubuntu 64-bit. Excellent. If you're not using a 64-bit, doesn't matter. Again, I'm gonna give it 2 gigs of RAM. Click on next, create, yes, so just as before, no big deal, dynamic allocation, 30 gigs, create, there we go. So settings, storage, empty, choose, and should be around here somewhere. There we go. Okay, so let's power this machine on as well. Okay, so let's leave it there. And our Fedora machine, we're just gonna try it out like this. We don't no longer need VirtualBox, so we're just gonna remove that. Expand Ubuntu. I'm just sorting it out on the screen so we can have a look at what we are doing. Okay, so let's see if Ubuntu will boot at all. Yes, it will. No problems. It actually booted just fine. But let's see what's wrong with Fedora. So if I expand this, it says log out. Okay. Might need to re-download the image, but no big deal. Something went wrong. Okay, let's power the machine off and try one more time. If it does not work, I will need to re-download the image. No big deal. Where is it? There we go. What does it have under troubleshooting? Test media and start Fedora Live. Will that be of any assistance? Actually, this is gonna take forever to finish, or maybe not, but as you can see, it probably will. So we're gonna go ahead and cancel that because I really don't feel like going through it. Now we're just gonna see if it's going to boot. If it's not going to boot, I shall interrupt the tutorial here, re-download Fedora 23 and boot it back up again. That's bound to solve the issues. Yes, no, maybe. Come on. Today, my good man, today. Okay, so it's loading, it's still loading. Something has gone wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the tutorial here and re-download the Fedora 23. Why didn't I cut this out of the video? Well, hey, if I encountered the error, it's likely that you might encounter it as well, so I want to show you how to solve it. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so re-downloading the image and starting it back up didn't exactly work out, and then I went onto the forums on the net to see what the problem was with Fedora 23 and VirtualBox. Yeah, it's fixable, but it's too much of a hassle. Basically, there's a problem with Xorg and VirtualBox, something to do with the video drivers, and I figured I'm just gonna reuse the CentOS image in order to create the admin workstation as opposed to using Fedora 23 with VirtualBox. Even though I don't know, it just doesn't work with VirtualBox. It can be fixed. The fix is a bit complex, so I figured just to reuse the CentOS image. Here down below, I have renamed this machine into CentOS admin. So previously it was written here Fedora. I've just typed in CentOS underline admin, and I've changed it from Fedora to Red Hat 64-bit, and then I went into storage and I added the CentOS image here. So just selected CentOS minimal, the one that we downloaded from the net, and I've selected it there and I stated OK. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fire it up while it is okay. So capture, sorry, install. Right control to release the mouse. So while it's running, we have these other two machines that we have. We're just going to go ahead and select our language preferences here, click on continue. Installation source, local media, software install. This is going to be minimal install. We're not going to select anything else, and we're going to state done here. Destination installation, so just select this one disk, make sure that you have this black and blue mark here, and select automatically configure partitioning. Done. I've attempted the installation before and I've stopped it, so I'm just going to go ahead and state reclaim space, delete all, reclaim space. There we go. Automatic partitioning selected. You're not going to have that because your disk will be empty. That's just for me because I am a genius who failed to do it from the first time around. Because I was doing the installation and I was doing the explanations, and I realized that my microphone wasn't plugged in, which is a brilliant revelation. So just go ahead and enable this. Make sure that it's turned on and click on done. Also make sure under devices, under network settings, that you are in fact in bridged mode and that you have selected the proper adapter here. Gonna OK there. So minimal install, local media, automatic partitioning, network connected, and let's go ahead and start the installation. So begin. We need to set the root password. Just gonna give it a weak password. On a virtual machine like this, for learning purposes, it's not that necessary to have super strong passwords, but in a production environment and in exposed environments and in general, it's a good and sane practice to have good strong passwords. So I'm just going to state that this is a I don't know, proxy, and the name will be what shall I name this one? Sure, creator. That's gonna be require password. Sure, password. So the username, the password, done. The user will be created. The root password is set, and we're just gonna leave that to run. Now we're gonna do a relatively similar thing down below. I'm gonna select my language preferences. I'm going to begin with the installation source, and now I don't need a minimal install, I need GNOME. So I'm going to select GNOME desktop, and I'm going to select a few things here. So GNOME applications, legacy X Windows system compatibility, Office suite, compatibility libraries, security tools, and I'm just going to go ahead and say some development tools. Feel free to install that. Can save you some hassle later on, but not necessary really. Just gonna go ahead and click on done. So the packages have been selected, network is on, and under devices, network settings, bridged, name, allow proper adapter selected. Promiscuous mode, allow all. Okay. On done. Click on the partitioning. Everything is selected here the way it's supposed to be done. I have to reclaim space once again, and I'm just gonna go ahead and select delete all and reclaim space. You're not gonna need to do that. So as I state once again, begin installation. Let's go ahead and set the root password. I'm gonna choose a stupid username here as well. Admin. Go ahead and click on done, and I'm going to let that run. So the third machine, which will be our Office client, I'm going to select install English, continue. Download updates while installing, yes please. Also make sure under devices that it's network and that it's in bridge mode, proper adapter selected, allow all. Okay, erase and reinstall, or just install now. Continue. There is nothing that you can destroy on these virtual disks because you have selected them and they are empty. You have just created them. So go ahead and click on continue here. Your automatic time zone should be selected by default for you if you're connected to the net based on your IP, if I'm not mistaken. So English UK, I need the UK keyboard just because I'm used to it, no other reason really. Go ahead and click on continue. Your name, some office person, your computer's name, office. The name already exists on the network. Yeah, it kinda does. Something else is named office. Banking. Pick a username. Kevin from downstairs in accounting. Let's go ahead and put this in. And must start with a lowercase letter. Yes, indeed. But let's. How shall we name this user? Let's go ahead with Lyra. More interesting, eh? Require a password? Yes. Continue. Even though we have a warning that's too short of a password, it's gonna allow us to be a bit reckless here. So at this point of time, just wait for the installation to finish, and we'll continue when everything is done and set up later on.